Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Tia Mowry, My Next Act, Season 1, Episode 6.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Blair, you ready to walk us through this?
Yes.
Let's go.
Tia is auditioning for a new movie role. Mm-hmm. She talks about how there was no auditioning process for Sister. Mm-hmm. She and her sister were on set for Full House for their brother who was working. Mm-hmm. And the person who met them actually wrote the show for them. Yeah. So they did not have to audition. It was a show that was given to them.
Yeah.
Pretty much because they're twins. Mm-hmm. So the producer that she meets to read the part for says, I'm actually surprised your agency sent you here because this is for a more mature actor or actress. And he said that she reads kind of 31 and she's saying, like, I'm 45 years old. How much older I need to be? But she just looks younger, has a younger presence. So she wouldn't be great for that role.
Yeah.
And she's a little bit frustrated because with auditioning, and it's not always about talent, there's a lot of rejection. And she's talking to Ciara, she's getting things ready, and she feels like she needs some family support. So she invited her TV mom, JackÄe, over to spend some time.
What are your thoughts on this scene, Blair?
My thoughts on this is that, yeah, I imagine it is hard to audition for roles and for things not to be based on of your acting abilities. Sometimes the producers and the writers have a vision for the movie that they want to portray. And if you don't look the part or have the type of essence for the part, it doesn't matter your acting ability. So I'm sure that's tough, you know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny because Tia's career is so interesting. Because as you can see that a couple episodes ago, I talked about basically like when Tia and Tamera did Sister, a lot of what they've been through and things like that, their success comes from the fact that they are twins, right? And just to hear that the show was written for them, it is a privilege, and it's good that she was able to get in the door that way. But it seems like that fame carried her on from Sister and things like that, and now like she has to try to get these roles that are basically like by her own merit. 100% respect to her for what she did on The Game. The Game was a good show for like its time, and even the guy said like that was her first leading, like basically one of her leading roles outside of Tamera. So it's very interesting and actually like funny how they both was able to stay in like the limelight of being a celebrity, like Tia and Tamera. And the thing about it, because they are twins, Tia particularly don't even have to stay in the limelight, just one of them. Because if you see Tia, you're going to think about Tamera. If you see Tamera, you're going to think about Tia. So I think Tamera was the one that was on The Real.
Yes.
So it's like when you see one of them, you think of both of them. But it's so interesting now at 45, 46 that she's basically going through the life. It's not really the real life, but the life of a struggling actress of trying to get a role and things like that. So I found this scene very interesting that like, okay, maybe I can like kind of see where she's coming from. Maybe this is her next act, you know, but I find it very interesting that it's hard for her to get a role. And she wants to, you know.
Yeah. So Tia fills Ciara in on her frustrations with auditioning.
Yeah.
Putting in the time and the effort to remembering lines and practicing and trying to get things right and not getting the part just because you don't look the part.
Yeah.
She has had directors tell her in the past that she needed to lose weight, and she talks about how she wasn't afraid to show off her body and to work. I think she was on like Family Reunion on Netflix. And during that time, she had just had her baby, so she was like larger than she is now, and she wasn't afraid to work and be out there and audition even with the additional baby weight.
Yeah, and this is what confuses me, because I'm like, Tia, you've been in this industry for well over 30 years. You get what I'm saying? So it's like to hear her basically talk about this industry. Okay, I'm gonna try to be nice, right? To hear her talk about it in this scene to Ciara, to me, she did not sound like a veteran. She did not sound like she's true to the game, not new to the game. Like, I would think like over 30 years in this industry, you would have some like thicker skin and kind of like, you know, rejection. It's like this is part of your job. This is part of your role. But to hear basically how she got roles back in the past because she was a twin, And now that they kind of grew up and now we kind of look at you as an individual, it's kind of like the rejection and all those other things that you probably should have went on or went through in your early career, you're going through it now. It just seems backwards. To me, I would think that she would kind of be over the rejection and the expectation that these producers and writers would want from her as an actress 30 years in the game.
Well, if I could push back, I mean, wouldn't that be a reason that she would have a hard time with it? Because her career was kind of handed to her on a silver platter. And now that she has to do the work, she, has come to realization that, things aren't as easy as they were at the beginning. This is kind of the reality of the situation. So maybe she's not a vet in the sense that used to the amount of rejection because her initial career, and then of course there were parts where people wanted Tia, they wanted her face, they wanted her presence on their show, and there are times where she goes to auditions and they're just like, Tia, we know you, but not for this. You know what I'm saying? And that probably is something that is difficult, and maybe even more so because that wasn't something she had to experience her whole entire career.
I will say yes.
Okay.
But also I would have thought the game would have undid some of that work. Like how like in certain roles in certain movies, when one person play a role, they can't get other roles except for like a kind of like another role.
Because they're typecast.
They typecast in that. So I thought she was typecast in that as just being Tamera's twin. You get what I'm saying? Until she did the game. I would have thought the game would have opened more doors for her to be kind of more in our face, because that was a total different character that we're used to seeing Tia you get what I'm saying?
Possibly.
But it is what it is.
So Tia and Cairo, they have a little paint session. She says to Cairo, you're such an actress. And then she asks Cairo if she wants to act, and Cairo says no.
Listen here, man. Tia, get that thing off her, okay?
But Tia gets a text from Charles, and she decides not to respond. She wants to focus on Cairo and not Charles, especially since forgetting about the date.
Okay.
She says that she's been having a great time with Charles, but she's juggling a lot, and she's not wanting to prioritize getting to know him, dating him at this point.
Listen, it's just dating. Like, no one's asked you to go to the altar and things of that nature. So, like, I found this to be very weird. Listen, I'm just following in Tia's world, in Tia's reality.
Yeah.
That from a guy perspective, how do you forget the date, right? And then, like, I'm getting punished for it by, like, you kind of, like, not talking to me, not responding to me in a way. Like, you left me to because you mismanaged your time and things of that nature,
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I felt about it. I mean, I feel like the best thing for T to do is to focus on herself and her family, because I think that she does need to get a little bit stable in herself first.
Okay.
But I do agree. I mean, he came to your house, he had the date prepared, you forgot about it, and now it just kind of seems like you're avoiding the issue because you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sit right with me by watching that. I mean, I can understand when she didn't want to text him back. You're in the middle of doing something with your daughter. But for her to say like, I don't really want to talk to him, I forgot about the date. So it's just kind of like you're avoiding the issue because you made a mistake. And that just seemed a little bit off.
Okay.
So JackÄe arrives. Tia says that, JackÄe has always been there for her and her sister. They have both, basically, she's been in their lives for over 25 years, like after the show has ended. And JackÄe talks about how she just spent some time with Tamera in Napa about a week ago, because we know Tamera and her husband own a winery in Napa.
Yeah.
JackÄe says that, Tia was always the more ambitious, career-oriented, sexier twin, and Tamera was always more of the producer, kind of quirkier one.
Yeah.
But Tia believes that they both have that yin and yang about them.
Okay.
JackÄe has said that you can't have everything in life, at least not all at once. Apparently, JackÄe had it for 3 years at one point in her lifetime, but it stopped working and everything fell apart.
Yeah.
So she says that, it's just hard to have a home, have kids, and then try to nurture the ego of a man. Tia talks about how she works, she's a mom, and dating. All of that is a lot to balance right now. And she's wondering if she's repeating some of the same mistakes at this point.
Yeah.
I wish she would have dug a little bit more into that, but what she meant by more mistakes. But she didn't give us more after that.
Oh, no. I'm going to get into it on this. Keep going.
So she was having questions about her marriage at the time that JackÄe made that statement to her.
Yeah.
JackÄe said that she knew from the other party, basically Corey, that things things weren't really working out, and how when there's an imbalance of money and success, that you can't really be in competition within your marriage.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to say too much because she doesn't want to come down on Corey. She still likes Corey.
You said enough. Okay.
Tia has been dealing with guilt, and she asked JackÄe, you know, how did you deal with the guilt? And JackÄe pretty much just said, you know, you failed at marriage. But she does still believe in happy endings. Tia feels that church has protected her in the past, but put her in a box. She's trying to find out what she likes. She talks about how she has Buddhas in her room, and JackÄe lets her know that it is going to get better.
Okay.
So Tia is becoming who she wants to be. She says that she is in therapy. With her career and her business, she knows what she wants, but with love life, it's completely different. As a child actor, it was all about pleasing everyone instead of looking inside of yourself and knowing what you wanted for yourself.
Ladies first. Go ahead, Blair.
I did think it was interesting that Tia was talking about how badly she needed family time, and she chose to call someone who's not family
Her TV mom.
her TV mom,
her fake mom.
It's just interesting how Tia is talking about family, community support, and the only family member we see is Jerome, who it is her first time meeting Cairo, his first time meeting Cairo. So, but I will say that you can develop family bonds with people who are not necessarily your family.
Of course.
Especially, you know, older people with wisdom who've been through different life experiences. And maybe, you know, JackÄe has went through some life experiences that Tia can draw from in her situation that maybe her mom can't relate to at this time. And that's totally fine. Now, when it comes to, I'm just trying to remember what she said. Oh, not having everything all at once. I think that it's all a juggling act. And I think the benefit in having a partner in a marriage is that you don't have to juggle everything by yourself. And I think that also depends on the partner that you choose and the partner that you're with, and if they're able to show up for you in that type of way. And I don't know Corey and the inner workings of their relationship, but if it was a positive marriage worth staying in and working for, then I feel like it would have been something good to discuss about how it feels like things are overwhelming and you need your partner to step in for you. So that way you guys can continue to have it all as a unit. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm a woman, I'm trying to have it all, the marriage, the kids, the career, all this type of stuff. It's a blessing to have a partner to rely on and to pick up the slack for you. Now, if JackÄe is talking about how there was issues of competition within the marriage and success and money, you know, because Tia was doing so well, then yeah, that's a fair issue to have. And even I think that's something that could still be worked out if both parties are willing to.
Of course.
But hey, we're here. They couldn't work it out. So Tia at this point doesn't have someone to rely on to help with the juggling. So she has to choose what she wants to prioritize, which I think she's doing a good job of doing this episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna break this scene down as much as I can. Just follow me, because I'm gonna take us from the left to the right to the east to the west. It's gonna be.
I'm strapped in. Let's go.
Listen, it's because what you said was so perfect. Oh, she talked about how much she needed family time, but yet we see no family around.
Yeah.
Right. Even before the scene started and things of that nature, you could tell like JackÄe was kind of like, all right, now, like basically kind of breaking that fourth wall. It wasn't so much of a real scene, a reality unscripted series. It was more of like an interview. It's like, okay, sit down, like give me my wine and things like that. It's kind of like, oh, it's like, this don't feel natural.
Yeah.
Right. But then they started talking. Let me touch on the Corey's part first. Right. Hopefully y'all ain't break up over no money, over no little competition. Right. And I don't know how fair it would be to only say that is the reason. To say like, oh, because of the other party, there could be some competition. If that's the case, and if that's really the only reason why y'all broke up, y'all are both immature, and y'all both need a timeout. You get what I'm saying? That y'all are willing to put these kids' future in the balance because we can't put egos aside.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is men do have an ego, but Tia also admitted throughout this series that she also has an ego too, right? So my whole thing is, if there was such a thing, especially since she's the one that filed the divorce, and she's the one that basically said that she was alone and she was lonely, and she even said some part throughout the show that she was happy that she was able to file because so many people stay in marriages and they can't file and get out of that marriage and things of that nature. So that's one part that I just want to touch on with the Corey thing, that hopefully it's not only about money and competition. Because, you know, Corey's working and obviously he got his own money to the point where he can live by himself and still live in that area. So let's put that to the side. Let me show you how backwards and weird this show is, right? JackÄe is a veteran in the acting industry in Hollywood, correct? Right? She, earlier in the scene, Tia comes home from, I guess, a audition or whatever it was. You get what I'm saying? And she vents to Ciara, who is not a vet in the industry, who knows nothing about rejection in the industry, acting in the industry, having to basically be someone you're not in the industry. And she vents to her, but you have Miss 227 on your couch. You have Miss Sister on your couch. Someone who was viewed one way, who was viewed another way, who have over 3 decades, over 4 decades, potentially, I don't know about 5, maybe 5, but definitely 4 of acting, and you don't really vent to her or really talk to her or let us see you talk about where you are in your career in acting. Instead, you want to talk about Buddhists you have in your room. Instead, you want to talk about trying to have everything at once and things like that. And that's one thing that kind of lets me go like, oh, there is a lot of ego when it comes to them too, because I'm like, Tia is someone, as we see in the scene, that probably wants a lot of things at once. You get what I'm saying? And one thing that JackÄe said was, you can have everything, just not all at once. So when I was hearing the scene, I did kind of felt what Blair was saying was, it was a lot of surface conversation with no depth, right? A lot of, we go touch on this topic, then move on. Touch on this topic, then move on. Touch on this topic, then move on. But I'm like, we are over 5 episodes in on this show, Tia, and I still don't see you. I see the person that you're presenting to me. You get what I'm saying? But you're trying to create these intimate moments, right? Trying to create an ambiance of intimacy. The lights are dim, the lights are shining, or candles and all this stuff, to where it make it seem like we're having this intimate moment. But the thing that's missing out of this intimate moment is intimacy. Mm-hmm. You still got a mask on to me, and I felt like I would have thought sitting down with JackÄe that it would have came off just a little bit, but this was just another orchestrated scene for this orchestrated show. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Well, Tia talks about how she enjoyed her time with JackÄe.
Okay.
She has clarity now after talking to her. She has her priorities, and her children are her priority right now.
How?
She's not in a place where she thinks she should spend time away from her children, her career, and her personal growth. So Tia calls Charles,
okay,
but she decided to keep this conversation private. So she demics and have the camera people get out the room.
Okay.
But she gives us a summary of the conversation of how she felt that they were moving too fast. Mm-hmm. And then we see a clip of Charles saying, you know, when he was talking to Natasha and Ciara about how, you know, he'd like to possibly spend a life with her. Mm-hmm. Jerome gets into the bed with Tia to chat with her, and she says that she doesn't think she's ready right now when it comes to dating. She thought she needed to date to prove that she was moving on, but he's just not her priority right now.
Okay.
So she's learning to trust herself and her instincts. She talks about how she has been very vulnerable, and with being vulnerable, you can be impressionable. But she's not as vulnerable now. She is finding out what Tia wants.
Okay.
Tia will be working the morning that Jerome leaves, so she asked him for a dinner just for them to get some one-on-one time. He agrees to do so, and he also has some time, one-on-one time planned with Cairo.
And this is what I mean, like the whole trying to create a scene in the whole, I'm gonna demic, tell y'all to get out, it's a private conversation, and then apparently somehow her mic is on. Apparently, it's. What was your thoughts on this scene, Blair?
So my thoughts on the scene, I paused the scene, I stood up and I told my husband this was BS.
Yeah, she did.
But I'm really trying not to critique the show too hard because I feel like I know what I'm watching, a sitcom. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the real or fakeness of it. I'm just going to stick to the content.
Okay.
So, with Charles and her saying that she feels like they're moving too fast, I said that was BS because he was talking to Natasha and Ciara about he would possibly like to spend a life with her, but he never said that to her. And I don't feel, and you know, Tia can feel how she wants. It did not appear they were moving too fast.
Not to me.
He literally held the lady's hand. Like that was pretty much about as fast as they got. And I think that the bigger issue, which Tia has said throughout the episode, is that she's just not ready to date and she's not ready to prioritize dating. But her comment about, you know, things are kind of moving too fast with Charles and stuff like that, and then how they showed that clip, it made it seem as though Charles did something wrong. And I didn't like that because I felt like Charles was respectful. He went at her pace, like he didn't try to push her or press her on anything, and he seemed to just really be enjoying his time with her. Now, when it went to the conversation with Natasha and Ciara about him saying he would possibly want to marry her, some people date with the intention to marry.
Sorry.
And if they enjoy the person and they're enjoying getting to know them, marriage is going to be something that they are looking at or working towards because that's something that they want out of life. So I don't think that was such a bad thing for him to say. Maybe he shouldn't have said that to her friends who are a little bit negative and judgy. But I do believe that if your intention is to date with intention to marry, then you are dating and spending time with people that you can see a long-term connection with.
Yeah.
So,
and then on top of that, like, if you don't want me to say something like basically my 5-year goal, my 10-year goal, stop setting me up on these interviews with your friends. This was the second interview with them after I already met you and been on dates with you. I got your number and things of that nature. So, like, to your point when it comes to what he said to Natasha and Ciara, stop setting me up on dates with them, and I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because, for one, they came up to me basically on the second date, basically like, what is your intentions with Tia? And what do I supposed to say? Just to have fun? Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, so to your point, of course, we it's not a sitcom. It's a unscripted. She made sure she got that out. It's an unscripted show. Yeah. There's no script to the show. Okay. Charles is not a paid actor on the show that they let him go and things of that nature. It doesn't make sense of basically like it's moving too fast. Like, you don't have time at like 40 something years old. Like, and truth be told, people would actually say that y'all was kind of moving slow, that y'all was back in high school type of stuff with trying to do y'all prom again. So like, it just shows that Tia is really scattered brain, that she don't really know what she wants, but you know, it is what it is.
So Tia, Natasha, and Ciara, they go for a walk to catch up. Yeah. Tia tells them that Charles showed up at her house to take her to prom, and Natasha feels that he was trying too hard. And they also didn't like that Tia let him know where she lived. Okay. She tells him that she's not in a space to entertain him. She's come far to be able to know when to and to be able to cut off a situation. So she feels like that's growth, and she was able to work that muscle when it comes to dating.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Natasha says that you have to be in a space to where you're good with or without that person, and she does think that Tia probably needs to take some time to be good on her own first.
Wait a minute, stop right there, Blair. I said this, and then when I said this, you took my phone and you downloaded the app again and said I need to get out there. Yeah. I told you this 4 episodes ago, Natasha. I told you this 4 episodes ago, Ciara. And not only did y'all took my phone and re-downloaded the app, y'all went on interviews with guys.
Wasted y'all time.
Wasted. Come on now, right? Y'all went on interviews with guys saying, I need to get out there. And now you're singing a different tune? What are we doing here? That's not in the script. Keep going, Blair.
Before she was trying to fill a void, but now she's doing the inner work. Okay. My thoughts about this conversation. One, I'm just not a fan of Natasha's and Ciara's reactions to when Tia tells them about situations that happen with her dates or ending situations or whatever like that. Especially when the guy really didn't do anything wrong. For Natasha to say he was trying too hard, Tia expressed that she had never been to prom, that was something that she would have liked to experience. So I thought it was a very kind gesture for Charles to try to put something together like that so that it would be memorable and meaningful to Tia. It may be weird to y'all, but it would have been meaningful to her if she would have remembered about the date.
And Chris. Okay, you're right.
So she also didn't like that Tia let him know where she stays, and fine. Tell your friend about safety with dating, all that type of stuff. But Tia's a grown woman. If she wants the man to know where she stays, if she wants the man to come up in her house, lay up in her bed, that is her business. So and then we go into how Tia talks about protection and all this type of stuff. But I think that there's a way to be a friend without coming across as judgmental. And I think that is wrapped up in wrapping of protection. But I think that they're not allowing Tia to be in her fullness as a grown woman, as a 46-year-old grown woman, to make her own decisions. And yes, you can put out your opinions and be like, girl, do you think that's safe? Is that the best thing to do? But to trust and rely on the fact that Tia knows what's best for Tia. And even if she don't, she's figuring it out. So my thoughts.
But here's the thing about it: we go see later on in this scene, or in the show, that the reason why they they are treating her as a child is because she acts like one. She puts the responsibility of, you are my heart and you are my mind. You protect my mind and you protect my heart, and things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So basically these are your parental guides right here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not on equal grounds or anything of that nature. Y'all just we just here to basically look after Tia. Now I understand, Ciara, you on the payroll based on this show of the whole being an assistant. So your job is to look after and to assist Tia. Natasha, you supposed to be a friend. You get what I'm saying? So I agree 100% with Blair to basically make it seem like he was doing too much, as if y'all didn't do too much gathering guys and interviewing them.
And having him on a second check-in to see how things are progressing. That is weird.
That is very weird.
That is weird.
That's weirder than the prom. To be honest, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, Tia and Jerome have some time to spend dinner together. Yeah. She tells him that she would like him to come over maybe, every 2 to 3 months for a couple of weeks. Okay. And he says, with her, it's always an adventure. And Tia kind of asks, well, what do you mean by that? Because Tamera be saying the same thing. And is it because she's a little bit crazy? And he's just like, it's just an adventure. Okay. She feels that he's been a safe space for her throughout her divorce, her healing, her dating. And she doesn't want to be pressured into being with someone. She wants it to be organic, the way that things happened with her first marriage.
Let me tear this down for a second. It was heartwarming and everything like that. You know, cousin to cousin, sister, cousin. Hey, Jerome, do not come and be around this woman 2 to 3 months at a time. Because at the end of the day, Tia needs to learn to not put her safe space in other people. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's Charles. I don't care if it's Ciara. I don't care if it's JackÁe. That's the thing about it. She always looking for some type of crutch. You get what I'm saying? To get her through her normality of life. Hey, come here every 2-3 months if you can, because you ain't got nothing going on. You get what I'm saying?
And stay with me for 2 weeks.
And stay with me for 2 weeks at a time every time you come 2 to 3 months and things of that nature. Because, Jerome, you ain't got no family. You ain't got no friends. You ain't got no life. You get what I'm saying? And basically, you can watch Cairo. You get what I'm saying? I can put you to work, And that's what I'm saying, Tia. You keep looking for safe spaces with people where really you need to be the safe space for yourself. You get what I'm saying? So, Jerome, this is just basically the breeding ground for you to be there every 2-3 months, because that's probably the time it takes her to have a little breakdown. Like, oh, I'm good about 6 weeks. Around that 7th week, it started getting a little sketchy. And then he be there by the 8th week, every other 8 weeks in the year. Don't do that, Jerome.
Yeah. Tia does come across as kind of needy.
Yeah.
And dependent.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, that I think that it's important to have a village around you, and community and loved ones around you. And those are all good, but to have someone on a schedule or suggest someone be on a schedule to come visit you is just a lot. It's a lot. Maybe it's not a lot to people in Tia's world, and maybe this is something that they do for Tia because they know she needs it, but it just seems like it's a lot, and that if Tia wants to see people, Tia can go visit.
Exactly.
People don't need to come to Tia every 2 to 3 months and stay with her for 2 weeks at a time. If Tia feels lonely, Tia can go visit somebody. She can go down to Napa and spend some time with her sister. She can go visit her parents if she feels like she doesn't want to be alone. So I think that there's a little bit more that Tia could do to be an equal partnership in her relationships. Just the way that I'm seeing it as it's portrayed.
Or hang out with Corey. You said y'all still friends. So it's like y'all just not married. You know what I'm saying? So look, 100% Blair, you're right. That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say that. Go see them. But it just seems weird, and maybe, listen here, I ain't gonna hold you. I do like my house. You get what I'm saying? I do like my bed. But, you know, there will come a time to where, I'm not just gonna put the onus on you to come see me. Yeah. Right? And so it made it seem like, hey, come see me every 2-3 months. Not no, you know, next time we got to meet up where you at. You know what I'm saying? It didn't sound like an equal exchange in my eyes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, but I will say that I would have liked to see more moments like this in the season. We're seeing Tia with her loved ones, Tia pouring into and getting poured into by family members, friends, and things like that. Instead of seeing her go on these dates, be stressed out about these dates, you know, not really wanting to get to know people. Yeah. And it just seems like, I don't know, like if we really get to see where Tia prioritizes her time, right, with her children. And not necessarily watching Tia push Cairo into acting, but watching Tia take her to the pool and watching Tia take her to Girl Scouts.
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't watching no show with her.
But I'm just saying, like, if these are the things that Tia loves and prioritizes, it would have been so nice to see Tia in the space of the things that she loves and cares about instead of the things that she's afraid of. But maybe this was all a part of her journey, so we had to see it all. Yeah. But I really enjoyed just seeing her enjoying her time with her cousin.
Yeah, like, and then on top of that, I'm not gonna be so judgmental. It's season 1. I usually give a show 2 seasons before I be like, this is a good show or a bad show. You get what I'm saying? Maybe season 2, when we're back, we can maybe see this. You get what I'm saying?
Back where?
When we're back here reviewing the show for y'all.
But I will say that I do think that the dating element was a cute element that maybe could have lasted for a couple episodes. But if Tia knew she wasn't ready to date, like, maybe let's have an Eat, Pray, Love moment. Let's watch Tia go and, you know, talk to a pastor or a shaman or whatever, you know, it is, so that way she can get her fill instead of her kind of like rambling these quotables from Instagram. Yeah. You know, like I just felt like there was so much more potential. But anyway.
Maybe.
So Jerome and the babysitter are there. Jerome made Cairo some chocolate chip pancakes and they enjoy that. There's a babysitter there, like I said. So Jerome is off and he is gone.
Okay.
So Tia's kids are currently at her dad's house. So she invited Ciara and Natasha over for a girls' night. Yeah. Tia feels like a piece of her left with Jerome leaving.
Stop right there. What do you mean? He just met Cairo.
Yeah.
So a piece, you was whole, or at least part of you was there before Jerome got there, and now a piece of you left. What, he stole it? Did he take it from you? Why are you giving pieces of yourself to people?
Because he was her piece.
No, Tia.
I know.
Tia, you're weird. Like, stop that. Yeah. Okay, keep going.
They always do stuff for her, so she wanted to do something nice for them. Okay. So she has Chef Richard making them a delicious meal, and it sounded amazing. Yeah. Short rib pasta, whatever. Sounded great. Tia talks about how at one point she asked Natasha to stay with her for a few days because she wasn't doing very well. So Natasha stayed with her for 3 days. It was around the time, one of the first times when the kids were gone. Tia says that, you know, if she needs someone to cry to and talk to at 3 a.m, they're there for her. And that is something that she really needs right now. And everybody loves the food. Tia says that Natasha protects her heart and she's a protector in general. She's even given her mace. She doesn't even think like that. Tia says that Ciara protects her mental health. She just signed divorce papers. She was about to go on set. She was able to hold it together, but she was crying because she felt so blessed to leave a situation that no longer served her. Okay. She talks about how her family isn't near right now. There are days that she feels she's underwater, but a sisterhood really lifts her up.
Your sisterhood. Tamera was on the show?
Right.
No, I must have missed it. Tamera was on the show. What are you trying to tell me, Tia? And I know I named it that episode last time, but another grown woman should not be protecting your heart, and your employee should not be protecting your mental health.
I wouldn't even trust an employee to protect my mental health because where you gonna try to lead me to? Giving you like extra bonuses every year? Like, no, I can't trust you to protect my mental health, man.
No.
We can be cool though.
No, we can't be cool. I need you to make this call, and get out my face and stop touching my wedding dress. Okay. She do have this type of dependency on. Here's the thing. I know Blair said it's a sitcom. It is a unscripted reality TV show, heavy on the unscripted.
So you say,
right? No, so Tia said. Right. I know what she was trying to do with this scene. You get what I'm saying? Like, I see what she was shooting for, and this is basically what I felt like throughout every episode of the show. I felt like I kind of know what Tia was trying to do in the scene, kind of give like a heart feeling moment, basically like these are my sisters, these are my friends, these are my road dogs, but it just end up coming off cringy. You get what I'm saying? And it just seems that everything Tia does just come off cringy, and the intention may be there, but the execution is not. What do you mean this person protects your heart and this person protects your mental health? Like you, okay, Jerome is your safe space. Ciara is the mental health protector. Natasha is the heart protector. What do you be doing? like, if I got all these people doing all this stuff, Tia, what is your job to do for you?
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm lost. I would jump back in. Blair, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but that just goes to the point where Tia just sounds like she's very needy. She's very dependent on people to provide comfort and care for her. And of course, it's good to have, like I said, a village and people you can rely on and call on and things like that. But bro, 3 days at your house.
Come on.
I want to go home.
You can't go home. Tia needs you.
This is a 72-hour shift. I'll spend the night. We spend a week and we have a good time. I'll set up your therapy appointment for Monday.
Therapy.
And then I'll call you in the afternoon to be like, hey, girl, how was therapy? How are things going? All right. You're not doing too good today. Let me send you over something to eat. Maybe I'm a bad friend. But Tia just comes across very, very needy. And people have to do shifts in order for her to feel comfortable for the next period of time. Jerome got to come every 2 to 3 months and stay for 2 weeks. And Natasha, her shift is 72 hours. So,
and Ciara's daily, right?
And Ciara's there every day, 9 to 5. Sometimes 9 to 9.
Yeah.
So it just comes across as a lot. But I hope that with Tia, she says she's in therapy and she's doing the inner work. So that way she can, feel like she can stand on her own 2 feet a little bit and be a little bit more emotionally stable. I do not want to diagnose her, but I also know that in this age range, sometimes perimenopause and different things can be a factor when it comes to emotional regulation. So I think a divorce, maybe hormones, maybe a lot of things can be going on to where Tia is just feeling a little off kiltered. And to me, that's life, that's normal. But get the help that you need. Don't rely on your loved ones to do the heavy lifting for you. And I hope that Tia doesn't just sit with the fact that y'all are my protectors and y'all are coming to do y'all shifts for me. And that's what makes me feel good. It's just kind of like, Tia, it's such a blessing to have loved ones in your life, but please be okay. So that way people can be at home in their bed with their kids and they man. But I did think it was nice that she wanted to do something kind for them.
Yeah.
To just return the favor of them being so helpful because they really have been doing a lot to support her.
Listen here, man. Blair, you gotta pack a bag. Listen, if I call you over to spend the night with me for 3 days and you stay 1 day and then set up a therapy appointment for me, I don't think you like me.
Oh.
Okay, because for one,
I love you.
No one asked you to set up the therapist for me. Okay, I asked you to stay 3 days. And I got laundry in the dryer.
By the third day, you still not gonna feel better. We got to get you somebody.
No.
Somebody, a professional. We got to get you some real help.
That's craziness. As you see, Blair may not be a good friend of people. Okay, 3 days. You can't give somebody 3 days. No, but it's not the fact that she's only given 3 days. That's why I said I kind of know the moment she was shooting for. You had these girls there show up in their pajamas, kind of like a girl party type of thing, but it just didn't give off mature. It didn't give off like woman. Like it just gave I'm watching Grown Ups, but I'm not seeing Tia operate as a grown up. When she talks, it doesn't sound grown. It sounds like, thank you for being there for me, being my heart, being my mental, Jerome being my safe space, Cairo, you go be an actress. Like it's just like Jack, like, you know what, I'm having such a real hard time. Let me call my mom and really get some family time. JackÁe, you free? It's just like, it's like when I'm
and we're talking about sisterhood, but the sister is nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be, and I'm like,
yeah,
what are we doing here? It's like, what are you shooting for? Truth be told, she should have took the Kardashian model of basically just showing her real life. Now, I don't know if Tamera wanted to be on the show. Tamera said she found out that there was a show when we found out.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm just finding it very strange that Tia is trying to cultivate like these moments that is falling flat every episode. And now my question is, and maybe y'all can answer for me in the comments, what is the next act? Because this is Tia Mowry, my next act. What do you think the next act is, Blair?
I don't know. After the season, I'm hoping this is the last episode.
No. No.
The next act for what I hope it to be is I want to see Tia going into some spiritual depth of trying to garner some type of stability when it comes to her mind, her spirit, and her body.
You want her to go to church?
That's what I would do.
Okay.
But she said she got the Buddha, so I don't know where she need to go for that.
Okay.
But she needs to, I would like to see Tia become more grounded in herself, instead of relying on all these people and hating the dates that she's going on. I want to see her really like come into her own and be at peace with herself and her life. And that can take time. And, you know, I'm definitely not saying that she has to rush to that, but it would be nice for the show to pivot in that direction rather than her failed dating stories. So,
yeah. I don't know what the next act is. I would think the next act would just be her day to day, in the sense of, I was a married woman, now I'm not a married woman. But I think she put there was so much emphasis, and maybe it was our fault as viewers, of the next act will be her as a single woman dating, that it just seems weird now that she's like, I'm gonna focus on my family. Yeah. And it's like, well, you kind of made us think like your next act is this. Maybe we put it on you and it's our fault. But I wonder what this next act is and things like that. And there will be a season 2. And we be right here, right back in these seats with y'all, talking about this unscripted reality TV show. Anything else, Blair?
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
No, it's okay. No, we're not leaving the folks like that. And all the people who said that they're not watching the show, but they watching us, watch the show.
No,
okay?
we hear, right. And there are gems to pull from the show and conversations to have.
I'm not going that far.
I feel like there's certain things.
There's no gems for me.
So
I'm about to say there's like
okay, we gonna be here to talk.
Yeah,
okay,
basically, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.